Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO video from BrickByBrick, and today we have something a little bit different from the normal here. We have the LEGO Ideas Stitch, but actually physically in person. Because what I did was I recreated the latest version of the LEGO Ideas Stitch project, which has been resubmitted, and there's a link in the description below for you to go support it if you want to see this become an actual LEGO set. But for those of you who are unfamiliar with the history of Stitch here, this project was submitted to Ideas back in, I think, 2016, maybe 2015, and it reached 10,000 supporters, and was in the fall 2018 review period, and it was not approved. It was in the same period as the Flintstones, and that was the set that made it through that round, and the Treehouse too, actually. Both of them were approved, and Stitch was not, unfortunately. But they brought Stitch back for a LEGO Ideas 10th anniversary fan vote against the International Space Station, the Small Yellow, and the Sega arcade machines. And Stitch lost again to a space station. So, you know, hopefully it'll make it to 10,000 supporters and get approved this time. Because obviously, since LEGO brought it back for the 10th anniversary fan vote, they are willing to make a Stitch project. It just, hasn't been the right time, either of the chances that it was, up there. But I really wanted Stitch anyway. So, just from images on, on the Ideas project submission, I sort of went and reverse engineered it and built something that's pretty similar. There are some modifications that are intentional, like down here on the very bottom. That's a little bit different, and the inside of the head might be a little bit different, and maybe some of my articulation will be a little bit off, and obviously on my model, at least, you can not lean him back too much, and the legs aren't super duper strong, so maybe that's, maybe if I make any complaints about that, that'll be part of the result, or part of the reason. But, it is a pretty good model, just, at first glance. This model is about 500-ish pieces, so if it was an actual set, they could probably do it for $40, maybe $50 maximum. Maybe they'd throw in a Stitch minifigure too, make it like the UCS Yoda set. But obviously I can't really grade it too closely on that because, it's not an actual set. It is just something that I'm here to show off and tell you to go support on Ideas. So this Stitch project was actually designed by Tyler Kleitz, who's on LEGO Masters, and he will probably be in the top 2, if I had to guess. But he's a pretty, good builder when it comes to articulatable characters with, brick building. At least, as far as I can tell, that seems to be one of his strengths. Maybe he's got other strengths that, he hasn't shown us. But anyway, the overall articulation of this character. He's got a ball joint for the head, so you can make him look in all sorts of directions. The ears are on ball joints as well. This might even just be the ball joint pieces that I have here, but they're a little bit floppy, and sometimes, if you hit them wrong, they'll just fall downwards. But it, you can get some good looks. The original version of his Stitch model had the ears so that you could see the purple from the back. And with the introduction of new parts since 2016, he was able to, redesign these. It actually looks really good from the back. I think I made a slight change here too, adding in that piece, just, to kind of make it less abrupt of a transition there. But, it's a good-looking model from the back, good-looking model from the front. You do get a little bit of gray in there, but not too distracting. He's got a couple studs in the back. Those are for a reason, which we'll see in a second. The legs don't have too much articulation. You can move them up and a little bit backwards, but it'll get stuck on this piece here. But you can move them forwards. You can make Stitch sit down, which that's kind of cute, and that's probably the way that I will end up leaving my Stitch. Just because that way you don't have to worry about, any chance of him accidentally falling backwards, which, it does happen a little bit if you leave him standing around and accidentally hit him. He'll fall backwards like that. But he does have 2 arms here, which can move in and out. You can move the hands around. You can get some really good posability there too. So, also the feet can turn side to side, but that doesn't really help too much with getting to stand on the ground. But, The mouth also opens up and down a little bit. I think his mouth was able to move open and closed a little bit more on the original version of Stitch, and that was one of the few things that, you know, got downgraded a tiny bit with the newer model, but I think that it looks a whole lot better. So I'm personally happy with it. Also, the other thing that you'll notice based on the model that I don't have is I don't have stickers on the eyes, or prints on the eyes to put the pupils in there, but I think it looks really fine without them, so I'm not too worried about that. You know, Stitch as a character sort of has two forms. He's got his, you know, cute puppy dog-like form here. There's also his more mischievous alien form, and both of these are possible based on this idea submission, and I think that would make a cool feature in an actual set to have both, you know, versions of them. I guess if you wanted to, you could buy multiple and have both on display at once, but I don't think that's really necessary with Stitch. But regardless, it is a cool thing to be able to do. I like the new evil eyes, which were a new thing in his more recent submission. And I don't even remember if his old one could transform like this, but it's actually not too complicated. Well, let's start with this one, and I'll show you how to switch it back in just a second. But first, you also have these extra spikes on the back. These pieces in dark blue are one of the hardest pieces to come by on this model if you wanted to try and build one of these by yourself. I think that and the 3x3 dish up here, those are the two hardest pieces to get. But then you also have the two of them on his head, and then the evil eyes, and obviously two additional arms, which are exactly the same as the first two arms. Just, you know, there's four of them now. So in order to switch this back, obviously the eyes are added, and you just remove the spikes, which there are just studs up there, and then those studs on the back, you know, just spikes get added on there, and you're gonna have to replace the original eyes, which is not too hard, and then all we do is pull out two of these arms, and then I put 2x2 tiles on the 2x2 section of studs that's used to attach the 2x4 brick. So you just have to remove the 2x2 tiles. If you think that's too difficult, you could always just leave it with the gray studs exposed. If you have the arms facing downwards, you really can't even see it, and then, you know, it's still not very obvious if it's there. But I just find that, you know, having this blue tile in there makes it a little bit less distracting. And then you just stick the 2x4 brick back in there, and we just do the same thing on the other side. And, you know, it takes like maybe 30 seconds to switch between the two. And obviously the more you do it, the faster you'll be able to. And if we put Stitch back here, you can see these are all of the extra parts required for the transformation, which, you know, it's not a ridiculous number, obviously. You know, they aren't used in the, you know, Stitch model here, but it's pretty cool addition to the model. And, you know, sticking him next to the minifigure of himself looks pretty good. I will say, you know, some people will probably be disappointed that, you know, it's not done in sand blue. First off, a majority of these parts don't exist in sand blue. But second off, I actually like the regular blue better, not for Stitch as a whole, but for this model of Stitch, because, you know, it's a larger buildable character, and I think that, you know, just having it in blue makes it, you know, sort of pop on a shelf. But, you know, it's a pretty cool thing, and I'm really glad that I was able to put this together. So, hope you guys enjoyed this look at the LEGO Ideas Stitch. Let me know in the comment section down below, do you want to see this become an actual set? And if you do, make sure to click the link in the description and support this project on LEGO Ideas. So, hope you guys enjoyed this review, /showcase, / whatever it is, and I'll see you guys all next time. Bye, everyone.